welcome to Premiere Scene. I'm Claire Bueno. As 2012 marks the centenary of the sinking of the Titanic, we embark on our own epic adventure with James Cameron as we attend the world premiere of Titanic 3D.
Titanic was called the ship of dreams. And it was. It really was.
We all see James Cameron as a visionary director, but he is really a visionary storyteller as well, isn't he?
It all starts with story. Jim will tell you this to begin with. It's taking ordinary people and putting them in extraordinary situations, but it's the story you tell of those people that make his movies resonate.
And what's it been like, the working process between you both and the collaboration? How does your team work?
Well, you know, I think at times I'm both the devil in the ear and other times I'm the angel in the ear. You know, in some ways I think that Jim dreams a lot of the dreams and I have to make them a reality, but we've worked out a good working relationship, and you know, it's been 18 years now and we're still going at it.
You're embracing 3D now. Why didn't you go down the 3D route back then?
We didn't go down the 3D route back then because the technology did not exist. Jim had played around with 3D right around the Titanic time, but it was so cumbersome to film a movie that way. The cameras weighed 600 pounds, and to move them, you couldn't shoot it the same way you shoot a 2D movie. We waited for technology to catch up with sort of the dream and then pursued it.
Do you think as well, when you look back at having revisited Titanic, the achievement actually that you did make technically, and what we see on the big screen, does it make you reflect back on the big achievement that you did make?
You know, we just watched the movie last week with our visual effects supervisor and others like that, and we were struck by how things held up. And that's not a testament to our talents, it's a testament to Jim's storytelling, that it belies any technology you might use to bring it to life, and you just relive the experience all over again.
We go full ahead! Put your backs into it!
A big event again, 15 years later, can you believe it?
No, it's like we had this tremendous premiere 15 years ago with Prince Charles was there, and it was a huge event, and to think that 15 years later it's going to come back around, and it's kind of bigger. I was filming this morning and I flew over, not realizing it was going to be as big as it is, and to have it in the Royal Albert Hall and all that kind of stuff, it's great. It's great stuff.
And can you go back and share with us? You were one of Jack's friends.
I was the Irish guy who stumbled on board, and we get to become friends on the ship, and then we all try and escape together, and ultimately I get shot, which was kind of controversial when the film came out. But you know, we hung out together and we shot that for 6 months in Mexico, and it was an interesting time. And you know, as a young actor straight out of drama school to be on set and to spend 6 months doing that was a joy, and to have a second chance and for it to come back around again is terrific stuff.
Well, as you said, you just come out of drama school, so you get presented with the opportunity to work with James Cameron.
Yeah, and I was a huge fan. I was a huge fan of James Cameron's work, you know, from a youngster and in drama school, and I loved his movies, and I was put on tape originally, and then James Cameron came to London to meet people, and I remember my agent calling and saying, "Come on and meet Jim." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me." And then I went in and I spent like an hour with him, and it was great, and we improvised and we chatted, and then I went home, and I really felt I did a good audition. You know, sometimes as an actor, you know if you've done a good audition, and then the call came 2 or 3 weeks later saying, "Do you want to go and do it?" And I says, "You know, what are you going to do?" You know, so it was great. It was good. It was really good.
Got everything I need right here with me. I figure life's a gift, and I don't intend on wasting it.
So what was it like, the costumes that you had to wear for Titanic?
Well, no matter what mood I was in, all I had to do was put that corset on and all the underpinnings in the dress, and I was there. It made the woman. Yeah.
Does it make a big difference to you as an actress, but the costume, do you actually embody that part as soon as you put the clothes on?
Yeah, well, Stella Adler was a teacher of mine, one of my teachers, and she always said how important costume is because you understand how a character functions, and even the kinds of shoes they wear is important. It, you know, gives you your walk and your bearing. So wearing a corset definitely was a big part of who Ruth was, constricted.
Yes, of course, her personality is coming through.
Yeah.
As women were repressed back then.
Yes, repressed. In fact, I was telling a story earlier that I went to do the looping of Titanic, my lines, and Jim said, "You sound different. What's going on?" I go, "I don't know." He goes, "Are you wearing your corset?" I go, "No." He goes, "We got to do another session. You've got to come in. I need to hear your voice in the corset because there was something different in my voice from that constriction."
And is it refreshing for you as well to work with a director that is such a perfectionist and it has to be just right?
I love working with Jim because he has such a vision and such intensity. He's a perfectionist in the way that he wants it to be the best, and he's also open for changes and improvisation. Like the original scene with the corset, I was being put into the corset with Kate, but she and I talked about it in the makeup room right before we went to shoot it, and we said, it should be opposite. So we thought, well, let's talk to Jim. Maybe he'll be open to it. So we went on camera onto the set, and as he was setting up the camera, he came to us. He says, "I've been thinking. I think Kate should be put into the corset. You should be, because that's what the scene's about." So we all came to that idea.
Now, James Cameron might have been helming the film, but you were helming the ship.
I know. He liked that, you see. The captain and the designer, played by Victor Garber. I think we were his favourite characters, apart from Kate and Leo, obviously. But the real life characters. I think we were his favourites because there was a kind of an essential truth underlying everything,
I think what I found when I first saw the film was that Captain Smith just had this incredible amount of honour. And did you see the character like that when you first read the script?
Yeah, and it's been borne out recently, because I've done a couple of things, documentaries about the actual real event. So I've been looking at some background stuff in quite good detail, and what's satisfying is that we kind of got him right, really. We didn't have the information that's around these days, not collected anyway. It was there, but it was all in archives, in museums and libraries all over the world, and this guy just put it all together in a book, which is great. I wish we had it at the time.
Is that sort of taxing for you as an actor, because you are literally basing the character on somebody that did exist? So does that give you more freedom, or does it inhibit you, really?
Well, kind of in a way, because I set myself up as being the person who knows what the average person knows, because I played real life characters before, real people before. So what you have to do is you have to not betray people's perception of that character. So if you don't go around with a silly hat on, or wearing dark glasses as the captain of the Titanic, or doing stupid voices, then people are going to believe you because you're all they've got. And if you do it right, then it kind of takes off. And I think we did that in the original.
You learn to take life as it comes at you.
When this ship docks, I'm getting off with you.
Can you take us back 15 years and try and remember what first kind of connected you really to the character of Cal and what you wanted to play with him?
He had a curious burden of the age upon him, not only to move the narrative, but for the film itself, and he because he was such a product of the times, in this case, ill-equipped really. He was just a product of bad programming when it came to having to deal or reckon with the possibility of a suitor of this, of a bohemian, as a worthy adversary. It just did not compute, and I felt so sad for the poor bastard, And I thought that journey was really interesting, realizing the guy had a more, the fragile heart he had only upon breaking it. So it was just, it was a gift. What a great character to play.
James Cameron is known to be a hard taskmaster as an actor. Is he great to work with? Is he an actor's director?
Absolutely. He's a man's man. He's first in the water, last out. Total respect for the fella. And he's got a great sense of humor, which no one ever gives him credit for. He's really quite funny. And so we had a smashing time, really hit it off quite well.
And is there anything memorable that you'll take away with you from the film?
Yeah, deck chair. Don't tell anyone, though, would you?
We're here 15 years later. What can you share with us some of your memories of making the film and what it was like?
Well, we shot the part that I'm in, the beginning and the end, in Halifax, and we started out, I think, in July, and they were building the studio and the ship down in Rosarita Beach. But the thing I remember most was really not my part of the filming, but going down to Rosarita in February of '97 and seeing this set and seeing the ship. It was nighttime, it was a cold night, and Jim was on a construction crane directing with a megaphone, and there were 600 extras running towards the stern of the ship, and the ship was at about a 7-degree list, and I thought to myself, boy, that must have been what it looked like, and then I thought, that's exactly what it must have looked like.
When you read the script, beg your pardon. When you read the script originally, did you have any idea how epic the film would be once you see it on the big screen?
I cried like a baby. I knew to put this great filmmaker with this great story, you're going to hit box office gold for sure.
And you've obviously worked with James Cameron on a number of events. What's it like? What does he bring? What sort of humanity does he bring as a director?
Well, I think he brings everything. He brings a technical skill with a human touch, and he creates these epic films that have so much heart and soul, as well as, pyrotechnics, and he's just kind of got it all. He's one of the great storytellers of modern times.
This film must mean a tremendous amount to you.
It does, yeah, of course it does, and it's been a really big part of my life. It's kind of never gone away. People keep saying to me, how does it feel to be talking about it after 15 years? Well, I've always been talking about Titanic, it didn't sort of go anywhere. So it's great that it's coming out again in 3D, and it's wonderful too. It's still the same gorgeous film, so it's really wonderful to talk about it.
God almighty.
You obviously write stories with heart, but I wanted to ask about the bonds that you build with your visual effects team, people like John Bruno, that bring your vision to reality.
Yeah, well, look, John Bruno and I are friends from back in the mid-'80s. He's actually in Guam right now on the expedition ship, still shooting the film that I'm playing hooky from so that I can come here and do this. So, I like to work with the same people over time. We do build bonds. I co-founded a company called Digital Domain, which is still a big going concern. I'm still friends with a number of the people from there. Rob Legato, who is our visual effects supervisor on Titanic, he and I look forward to working again together. Are you from the visual effects world? Or?
No, we know John Bruno because we're from the Ghostbusters, because we've been doing a documentary about that. So he's been very, very helpful with that.
Well, he's being a documentary director right now. We're just starting the film. We were just about to leave on our expedition. This is a sad story, and my very dear friend Andrew White, who was directing the film, died in a helicopter crash. And I called John Bruno. I said, John, I need you to direct this film. And you know what he said? I'm packed. I'm packed. That's all he said. I woke him up 2 o'clock in the morning. Said, I need you to direct this film. He just got on a plane and came.
That's camaraderie, isn't it, really? Which is what you need on set.
And when something like that happens, you need your friends to be there for you, and everybody that I know has stepped up. So.
Thank you. And the ocean is very important to you.
Absolutely. The ocean comes first, filmmaking second. But if I can make films about the ocean, then I'm really happy.
For our epic adventure at the world premiere of Titanic 3D. I'm Claire Bueno and you're watching Premier Scene.
This is it!